on a cello, and we're going to have our first lesson in music reading by beginning with the staff and the bass clef sign. Our goal for today will be to draw a staff and bass clef, and the success criteria that you'll show is drawing 5 horizontal lines for a staff, draw a bass clef at the left-hand side, put a dot on the 4th line to start your clef, draw a semicircle to the top line and down to the 2nd line, and it'll look like an ear when you're finished. You'll put 2 additional dots on the right side of the clef around the 4th line, and then we'll submit our drawing either on Google Docs or just draw a picture on a piece of paper, take a picture of it and submit it that way. And so let's begin with drawing our staff. I'd like you to think about how much you know about the staff and bass clef so far. Take a look at this picture. How likely would you be able to draw this right now without any instruction? Maybe you don't know anything about it. Possibly you know how to draw it already and you could teach it to somebody else. But by the end of this lesson, I'm hoping that everyone would be able to know how to draw it and teach it to someone else. Let's get started by drawing the staff with 5 lines, creating 4 spaces in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to start drawing our bass clef sign. Now, the bass clef is really the letter F, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So we're going to focus on this line right here, the 4th line from the bottom. And we're going to show that that line is going to be an F. So we're going to draw a dot on that line, and that's going to mark that line as F. But then we're going to draw the letter F. It won't look anything like the letter F. You're going to go up towards the top line, kind of in a semicircle, and then sort of curve back down again, and end just after the 2nd to the bottom line. We're almost done. The next thing we do is we draw 2 little dots around that 4th line, and that's really marking that line as F. There's no mistaking it. We've got a dot here, we've got 2 dots around there, and now I'm going to show you why that is the letter F. A long time ago, they would copy music out by hand, and different people, as time went on, took that job of copying the music, and they changed things up a little bit. We started out with the letter F, and then it got a little bit more fancy. That's a little bit more minimalist, and then it got quite different until here it looks a little bit more like what we have today, but we continually have these 2 markings to show that F, kind of like the real letter F. Here it looks like they went backwards for a bit, came up with that half moon shape, sort of like this one here, and then we end up with our modern bass clef sign that we use today, but it still is marking that line as F. When you read a note on that 4th line marked by the bass clef, you're going to be playing on the D string, 2nd finger, and that's our F natural. If we sharp that note, then we're going to use our 3rd finger, F sharp. On the bass, it's also on the D string, 2nd finger. There's our F natural. If we sharp it, we're going to use our 4th finger for F sharp. If you'd like to submit this assignment by Google Docs, let me show you how that works. To make a Google Doc of our bass clef, we're going to start by choosing a blank document and then go to Insert, Drawing, click on New, which brings you to this grid screen, and then you're going to draw or go to this area where it says line. You're going to select the line and then drag the mouse along. Going to select that line again, drag the line along, there we go, and then right click, nope, now you've got to select it and delete that
in case that happens to you. Now it's selected, it's blue, it's got these two little dots on the outside. Now I can right click on it and copy it, right click and paste, right click and paste, right click and paste, and then that's our fifth one. Now just to give us maybe a little bit more space, maybe I should pull these down just a little bit. So I'm going to put one line here and one line there, and maybe pull this one down a little bit more and bring that one back up. So now we have a little bit more space to draw. And after you've drawn your staff, now we're going to go back up to this area here and pull down to where it says scribble. Now I'm a little afraid that I'm going to start drawing next to the line and do my little blob right there on the fourth line, and then start up towards the top, curve around, and end right there. And let's just say you didn't like that. You can undo by doing this little arrow button there and start again. I believe we're still in scribble. Let's see. I believe so. Oops, undo that too. So now we're going to do our little blob and then curve up to the top line, curve back down to the fourth line or the second line from the bottom. Now this isn't going to be great, but I'm going to scribble a little dot here and a little, whoops, maybe a big dot there. Maybe I should make this one bigger, just so I know that you know that there's supposed to be two dots around that fourth line. It's pretty good. And now we're going to save and close, and there you have it on your main document. At this point, you can click on the blue button in the upper right-hand corner, and they want me to title it, and I'm just going to say bass, clef, and staff, and then save it to your Google Drive. Then you'll see your email here, and you can say done. And at that point, you should be able to submit it to Google Classroom, and it's ready to turn in.
That was our lesson on the staff and the bass clef, and I'm hoping that you're feeling more comfortable now with our success criteria, where we draw 5 horizontal lines for our staff, and then we start to draw our clef signs by drawing a dot on the fourth line, curving up to the top line, curving back down to this bottom space, putting these 2 dots around the fourth line, marking that line as F, and then we're going to start adding notes and using that F as a reference for all the other notes as they go up and down the staff. And this is the beginning of reading music together and playing all kinds of fun songs, and so I'm looking forward to doing that with you.